Have you ever noticed something strange about how we live? We prepare for the end, our deaths, our legacies, our fears, but we often forget how to truly live. It's like flipping through pages of a book, skipping ahead to the ending, and never reading the story. Why is it easier to think about death than to embrace life? Today, let me share with you a story that might just change how you see your days, your choices, and your existence itself. If you feel like you're drifting, overwhelmed by uncertainty, this story is for you. Act 1. Setting the stage. Years ago, a young man came to me, his eyes filled with fear. He said, "I can't stop thinking about death. It terrifies me. Every day, I imagine my end, and it paralyzes me." I asked him, "And what about your life? What do you imagine for that?" He stared at me, confused. "I don't know," he replied. "I've never thought about it." This young man wasn't alone. Many of us live the same way. We think about what happens when it's over. We try to control the uncontrollable. But in doing so, we neglect the moments we have right now, the moments that truly matter. Act 2. The wisdom of a story. Let me tell you an old story, a story of a king who sought to control life and death. This king was terrified of dying, so he built a magnificent fortress. He surrounded himself with doctors, guards, and riches, believing these would protect him. But one day, a wise sage visited the king and said, "You've built a fortress to keep death out, but what have you done to let life in?" The king was startled. He had spent his days guarding against the inevitable, but he had never truly lived. The sage continued, "Death is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It reminds you that your time is limited, but life is your gift. It's what you're here to experience, to cherish, to live fully." The king asked, "How do I let life in?" And the sage replied, "You begin by being present. You begin by realizing that every breath is a treasure, every moment is a page in the story of your life. Stop skipping the pages." Act 3. Reflecting on our own lives. Think about your own life. Are you living it, or are you merely browsing through it, like flipping through a book without reading its words? When was the last time you truly noticed the taste of your food, the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the sound of a loved one's laughter? These moments, they're the essence of life. But often, we're so busy planning, worrying, or regretting that we miss them entirely. Act 4. Facing the fear of death. Why is it easier to think about death than to embrace life? Because death feels definite. It's a single moment, something we can imagine. Life, on the other hand, is uncertain. It's unpredictable. It asks us to be brave, to be present, to open our hearts. But here's the secret. When you embrace life fully, the fear of death begins to fade. You realize that each day you live with love, gratitude, and purpose is a victory over death. It's a way of saying, "Yes, my time is limited, but I will make it count." Act 5. Practical wisdom for embracing life. So, how can you start living fully, instead of merely browsing through life? Let me share 3 steps with you. 1. Be present. When you eat, taste your food. When you talk, listen deeply. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. Life is happening in these small moments. 2. Let go of control. You cannot control everything. Accepting this truth will free you. Focus on what you can do today, not on what might happen tomorrow. 3. Practice gratitude. Every morning, take a moment to name 3 things you're grateful for. This simple practice can transform your perspective, helping you see the beauty in your life. Act 6. A personal anecdote. I once met a woman who had survived a terrible illness. She told me, "When I thought I was dying, I realized how much I had missed. I had spent so much time worrying about the future that I forgot to enjoy the present." Her words stayed with me. Why do we wait for a crisis to remind us to live? Why not start now, today, this very moment? Act 7. Closing wisdom. My friend, life is not something to be feared or controlled. It is something to be lived. The next time you feel overwhelmed by the thought of death, remember this: you cannot browse life. You must live it, page by page, moment by moment. And when you do, you'll find that life itself is the greatest gift of all. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone you care about. Together, let's remind the world to live fully, to love deeply, and to cherish each day. Take care, and may peace be with you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your comments, like, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks.